Hey, high school football fans, a new season is upon us, and we're here to preview it all. I'm Francis Beck, joined by Tom Prince, and we're going to talk about the Monsignor Martin division right now. This is our official Monsignor Martin football preview. And, Tom, I think we're going to have another interesting year with the Catholics.
When you say interesting, what makes you say that?
I think we have a lot of teams. I think we have a couple teams that have a lot to prove. I think we have one team I think we know a lot about. I think we have a couple teams that I think there might be a lot of doubters might say they have a bad year, but I think I think they could prove some people wrong, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are.
So I'm going to wait to get my – that's your tease until I find out what teams you're talking about. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So why don't I pull up again these teams? A couple years ago they did this. A division is St. Francis, St. Joe's, Canisius, and the B division is Bishop Timon, Cardinal O'Hara, and St. Mary's. We're just going to go in alphabetical order overall, but I just want to get you up on that screen so you know which teams are in which division. Again, each division will have its own crown at the end of the year.
But only the A division go on to the state title.
Yeah, so there is a state title with the winner of the Long Island Catholic League at the end of the year. I think that'll be the week before Thanksgiving, usually. Week or two before, yeah. But yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye out for that. I think that'll be down there this year, if my memory serves me right. So let's get started. We're going to start with the Bishop Timon Tigers. We're going in alphabetical order. They bring back Coach Matt Weiser, who played at UB, second year as head coach. He's been with the program for 5 years. They went 2-8 last year. They will return those 6 starters on offense, 7 on defense. And they bring back a couple of guys, Gerald McLeod, Clarence Prude, Ethan O'Hara, Anthony Pitts Jr., Demarius Perryway Scarver. So they have some returners there, a team that no reason why they can't win that B division.
No, I mean, when you look at 13 returning starters, we've been talking about it all the different previews we've done. That's one of the bigger core teams that are coming back, and hopefully that really bodes well for this Bishop Timon team.
All right, our next one is the Canisius Crusaders. One of not the biggest storyline, but certainly one of the biggest storylines. Coach Krasansky coming back to Canisius, his alma mater, after several years at Williamsville South. He takes over that program at Canisius. They were 6-4 last year, but he's going to have some rebuilding too. They're only returning 1 starter on each side of the ball. They have named their captains for this year. I think their one returner is Mike Doctor. He's a wide receiver. They also return Darrell Howard Dawson, Patrick Sullivan, and Colin Smith.
Yeah, Colin Smith, big guard right there, right? That is what's going to help Canisius right there, is that line, right? That line is still very big. It is a line that you absolutely expect when you see something when it comes to Canisius, and hopefully that's where it builds off from there. But got a chance to talk to Colin Smith, and he believes that they're going to be ready and they're going to have the line. And Mike Doctor, I mean, this kid is an athlete, does it all over in multiple sports, and I'll tell you, he's ready to take the helm. And Howard Dolson is going to run the ball, right? He is in running back, and he's ready to go. That's their core right there, who their captains are, to get things rolling for Canisius.
Key new players, Evan Dean, Jaden Clark, Kevin Walker, and Hunter Chansey. You might recognize that name. Yes, his dad, Eric Chansey, is on the staff. Of course, the longtime coach at North Tonawanda and Orchard Park.
And he just left Orchard Park. He played on the team last year.
Okay, he did.
He was on the team last year in Orchard Park, so he absolutely will make an impact and hopefully make that impact very quickly for them.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see a team, a lot of people are kind of, who knows what they could do. Coach Krasansky coming in, new energy. He's definitely going to have to rebuild. I think, how do I put this? I think you saw some players, I know they left. I think, probably, I don't want to say fear, but, they only have so many years in high school. Maybe they want to play the next level, and I think they thought
change. Change,
yeah.
Right? It's fear of change, period. That's what it is. But listen, Coach Krasansky no doubt is going to have his team ready. I think if what you were alluding to when we started this show, Canisius is one of those teams, right? They know it. They know right now that all eyes are on them. Expectations are that they win a Monsignor Martin division. If they don't win the Monsignor Martin division, it's a failure, right? It's a failure of a year. And top programs have that expectation. It's what you talked about Lancaster. You said, hey, listen, guys, you got to calm down a little bit, right? No, that's their expectation. Their expectation is they win a championship, and they win it year after year after year. Canisius got that same expectation, right? So does St. Francis, so does St. Joe's in this division.
All right, on that note, why don't we take a break? We'll talk about some more teams coming up in Monsignor Martin. You're watching the Monsignor Martin football preview on WNY Athletics.
Our homes have become offices, gyms, schools, and playgrounds. And at Western New York Immediate Care, we know you may need us now more than ever. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care physicians are trained to diagnose and treat most non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses. With 5 convenient locations open 7 days a week, help is never far away. Life has changed, but Western New York Immediate Care is still here for you.
I love being home.
There's nothing better than owning the perfect house to come home to. You've earned it, and we'll make it happen. Our local real estate experts and in-house team of financial professionals make buying or selling your home simple. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
Welcome back on the 2022 Monsignor Martin preview on WNY Athletics. And Tom, why don't you tell us about our next team?
So Cardinal O'Hara, if you remember last year, we were worried that whether they were going to have a team or not, right? And Sean Mangold has come in, and now, he's got a good core coming back right now for them. He's got 12 returning players, 6 on each side of the ball. His second year as head coach. The captains this year will be Jarrell Green, Samarion Treat, and Ty Mangione. The key returning players, again, Jarrell Green, Mike Ross, Samarion Treat. And then new players, Kalon Ford and Gabe Kilchner will be your big new players to watch out for right there. And this is, still, it's going to be a work in progress. This is not going to be happen overnight. Coach is absolutely building a program with a new tradition is what he's trying to do here. It sounds like this new freshman class is a very strong class. They've come in from a freshman class, which is how it begins, right? That's the start. Hopefully we're going to hear about some of the facilities and things changing over there at Cardinal O'Hara. I think right now there's a lot of positive going on for them, and we may be talking about future success here at Cardinal O'Hara.
I think you can see it's definitely on an upward trend. Maybe, it's still maybe not as high as other teams, but at least you're headed in the right direction, and that's always a good sign. Our next team is the St. Francis Red Raiders, coached by Jerry Smith, 34 years as head coach. Spilchmans takes the faith. 41 years with the program.
So you thought that last one was the most.
No,
it was Coach
I,
Jerry Smith.
I knew he wasn't. I thought he was second most. But Coach Smith, been there for a long time, has a great coaching staff. They went 7-1 last year, of course, won the Monsignor Martin A division. They returned, get this, 10 starters on offense, 6 on defense. I think that their only offensive starter they lose is one of their captains, Kamal Clark. The rest, they return Dylan Walker, Logan Rozeska, Marcus Harrison, Ricardo Kidd, who was one of my top guys to win the Connolly Cup this year. At least he's a contender. Steve Otremba Jr., quarterback, Terrence Pondergrass, Ethan Fairley at right guard, defensive tackle. Another two-way lineman, Balaam Miller, Jeremiah Neely outside, Dazim Dixon, Connor Miller, Ryan Lawrence, Aiden Dubeck, Andrew Ginn, Malik Williams, Romeo Valley, Aiden Thomas, Matt Stell, their key returning players. Real quick, their new players, Teddy Roberts. He transferred in over the summer from Dunkirk. Keegan Burnett's coming from Canada. He'll be on the outside. Peter Matillo also coming from up north. You have Felix Sinetto, Sean Greaser, Slade Gonzalez, Mike Harris, Tucker Job, Robert Kendall, Ethan Metro, Aiden Palugic, Bryce Roberts, Kenyan Uganda as well So we love how these coaches, Coach Smith, he was one of the first to fill this questionnaire out, and he sends in a lot of his guys. Hey, we love naming these kids honor. We hope you're all watching.
Rieska looks like he's off to Harvard. Marcus Harrison offers from UB and Temple. I know his lineman already has offers from Wisconsin. He's got some big let me tell you something. If I was to put the rankings out today,
The entire large school
Western
New
New York.
Okay.
I'm hard pressed right now between two teams, and this is one of them. I think it's Bennett and St. Francis right now that you're talking about the two top teams in Western New York. I
think you look at this St. Francis team, all the guys they return back. This is quietly, there isn't, for as many guys as they return, there doesn't seem to be a ton of hype around St. Francis. They're just quietly one of the best teams.
Well, do you think Coach Smith is going to allow his team to get all pumped up like that? Not a chance. Listen, this is right now, to me, the top team in Monsignor Martin Division. And I think one of two top teams in Western New York. And we'll see. The only thing with the Red Raiders, as you talk to them, 2 home games. 2 home games, that's it. They got a lot of traveling to do, right?
And they're going out of state too.
Well, absolutely. But I mean, they're not. Canisius has got a couple teams against local Western New York teams. These guys don't. They're traveling everywhere for every single one of their games. 2 home games, so we'll see how it plays out. But this team's ready to go. Boy, you're going to talk about a team who's going to be battle-tested and ready to go for the playoffs. Yeah, they'll be ready. Trust me.
And you look, again, I mentioned Ricardo Kidd. He's a guy I got my eye on as certainly going for the Kennedy Cup. I don't see why. I mean, if St. Francis has a strong year like they're expected to, I don't see why he's not at least in the discussion to be a finalist this year.
You know what I mean? You still got to play it out in the field.
Yeah, you do.
But let me tell you something. If I was running behind that line, I'd have a good chance to put up some numbers. And I'm teasing. Ricardo Kidd is something to watch. This kid's ready. And he's got an incredible line to run behind. There is no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to put up some big numbers. And then you remember, you got a quarterback here that's a 3-year starter who's going to be considered the top quarterback inside the Monsignor Martin division too, right? So they've got tons of leaders, tons of experience. I mean, look at that. What is it? 17 kids are returning to this team.
Well,
Sorry,
starters.
16 starters. And, oh, by the way, he retooled. This is the same conversation we had with Bennett, right?
Yeah.
You got the people that you retooled here with are going to easily fill some of those starter positions. This team's for real. They are very good. This is going to be a fun team to watch.
All right, on that note, we'll take our final break before we talk about our last 2 teams. This is the Monsignor Martin football preview on WNY Athletics.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to WNYImmediatecare.com for more information.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Welcome back for our final segment of this Monsignor Martin 2022 football preview. And our next team, I kind of teased at the beginning of the show a team that I think that people are counting out that I think could do very well this year, could do decently this year. The St. Joe's Marauders. Coach Mike Corona, I believe this is going to be his 3rd year with the program, head coach. I think his first year was COVID. But I think his first year was COVID.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So he comes back. A note there, Aaron Waller, who was a running back at Cleve Hill a couple years ago, is an assistant coach on that staff. Last year they went 1-8, but they returned 6 starters on both sides of the ball. They had a couple big guys: Mike Noonan, Will Rahill, Pharrell Livingston, Brendan McElroy, Nick Licata, Brandon Barone. I think a few of those guys come back. We talked to them last year. He said he had a big freshman class coming in, and I think it might take. He kind of admitted it might take a little bit, a couple years, but he was going to build that program from the bottom up.
Well, when we interviewed him when he first got the job, we knew this was going to be a work in progress, right? We knew it wasn't going to happen, the very first year. Great coach. Players believe in him. Boy, he really got all of Western New York to believe in him when he first got here, right? We really thought he was a guy that was going to rebuild this program back up. I think they got a great guy here. And again, it takes a class for you to get there, right? That first one, a couple wins under your belt. Let's start it there. Again, this is one of those ones where you look at the top three. Okay, can you get a win against either Canisius or St. Francis? That's how you take the next step in the process. Can they do that? That'll be king.
Yeah, and we are starting a weekly magazine just covering high school football this year at Western New York Athletics, and we have Adam Gorski, who you probably very well know, went to O'Hara. I've assigned him the Monsignor Martin division, and his first story, I told him, tell me about the state of the St. Joe's rebuild. We've been hearing from Coach Corona how he wants to build it, where he's now 2 years fully in. He's starting his third year. So I asked Adam, find out what the state of that program is. So be sure to watch for that in a little bit when we release our first issue before week one. Tom, tell us about our final team.
So St. Mary's. So this is a team we've seen really the last couple of years have great years. Head coach Matthew Ard, 4 years as head coach. He's been with the program 8 years. He returns 11 starters, 5 on the offensive side, 6 on the defensive side. His captains this year are J.C. Coleman, Marcus Johnson, Nate Wisniewski, and Owen Zito. And his key returning players, Coleman, Johnson, Wisniewski, Zito, add into that Jamel Dallas, Logan Gray, and Adrian Lawrence. And the key new players will be Sheldon Cunningham, a transfer, Braden Monk. You'll see speed from him at the wide receiver spot, and Aaron Kimitic will be your key new players that are there. We've seen St. Mary's doing it with the run, right, behind a nice line. We've seen that the last couple of years. No doubt, I think that we should see St. Mary's and Bishop Timon battle out for this division is what we should see again happen this year.
I think the big question is who's going to fill the shoes or how are they going to fill the shoes of Christian Lewis? He broke the Monsignor Martin record last year for rushing yards in a season. He was a Connolly Cup finalist, just an absolutely electric player.
I agree with you 100%, but they did it for a reason. They had a line.
Yeah.
Right? They had a line that he could run behind, and when you're returning 11 players, he's going to get some of that. So there is some there, a semblance of a line. We'll see exactly how it plays out, but that should be the key is at least can you do that. They've had some college commits too. Will Rhodes went to Clarion. Christian Lewis, we already talked about at Brockport. Best pitch is at St. John Fisher, and Shalian Scott at Hilbert. But, yeah, I think we're going to end up seeing it should be in the small school, St. Mary's and Bishop Timon really battle that one out.
I agree with you there, and I think St. Francis is the favorite. I think that Joe's Canisius game is going to be interesting because it'll really show you where those two programs are right now. I think we can say they're a little bit down than what they expected themselves, but it'll be interesting to see where exactly they are at that point in the season and maybe going into next year, who will have the upper hand.
Yeah, I want to read a little bit more about the St. Joe's rebuild right there. I do think even if Canisius is down a little bit, I'm not sure they're really, really down, right? I told you.
You put them up. You think in their current form, you put them up against some teams in Class A.
Do I think they're maybe down a little bit from Canisius? From St. Francis and Bennett. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Do I think they're way, way down in Western New York? No, because they have that line still, right? They have some pieces there. Watch out for. They've got a Mike Doctor. They got guys that can run. They're going to be just fine. They need to figure out some things, yes, but I do not think that Canisius is down and out, and you're going to see a team that's going to be less than 500. They'll be fine.
I mean, they face Lancaster this year, a matchup that people have been clamoring for decades for various reasons. Or not, I shouldn't say decades. Really, it's picked up the last 5-6 years. I remember
with the Lancaster winning the title last 5 years, right?
Yeah, and people
because you always say is who's the best team in Western New York? Is it the private? Is it the the public? Is it one won a state championship, one got to far in a run? It's a constant debate. And guess what? We're going to have the debate. We already said right now. I said right off the beginning, what did I say? The two teams I thought were right at the top of the heap was Bennett and St. Francis. So we're already having that debate right off the bat of who it could be. So
those are your teams. Let me just get this off. But yeah, that's the Monsignor Martin division. I think there's and again, I think there's a lot to keep an eye on this division. Even if you think that the top is, as we kind of mentioned, there's kind of a favorite. We think the other two are down. There's no reason why Canisius or St. Joe's can't at least give a scare to St. Francis.
Rivalry games happen for a reason.
Exactly.
Right? Anything can happen. But like you said, it's right now, this the returning and the core that comes back for St. Francis. I'm still going to give them the edge.
All right, well, that will do it for our Monsignor Martin football preview. Stay tuned on Western New York Athletics all season long. We have plenty of videos. We're doing plenty of games this season, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. For Tom Prince, I'm Francis Beck. Thanks for tuning in.
We realize now more than ever is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we'll find your dream home. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Sometimes it just isn't your day. We all need a little help from time to time. That's why we're committed to providing safe, quick, and cost-effective care. And we keep it simple. Just walk in. We're here for you. Learn more today